Hey, good people. Another episode, another edition of the All Go podcast on YouTube. Also have an actual podcast that I will put the description of that podcast where you can find it in the description. So feel free to check that out here on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Just put out content. It's sports focused, mainly football, some basketball, but yeah, would definitely appreciate the support. Today, want to talk about the Tennessee Volunteers. So just this week, they have announced that Jeremy Pruitt has been fired and the AD has stepped down as well. To get into kind of what my thought was on it was I thought the two gentlemen that they should have gone after were number one for athletic director, and obviously I have zero insider knowledge or anything like that. I thought for athletic director, they should have gone for Peyton Manning. I mean, he may say no, but I think that would have been a phenomenal option. Someone who really has the Tennessee Volunteer just kind of way in him, ingrained in him. I know he has gone and showed up to different Zoom courses for students at UT. So I thought that could have been a very good and very natural position for him. Naturally, I think he would have been able to do whatever he wanted as the athletic director. And when it comes to an AD, the main focus, especially at these Power 5 conferences, is football. Like, it's the number one revenue generator. Now, obviously, you have to make decisions on other programs as well, but football and basketball, those are the two sports that really bring in a lot of money. And if you're doing better and you're doing well, you're usually that's gonna help your cause. They have since hired Danny White, who was, I believe, the athletic director at UCF, and he's coming over. And I don't have any doubts that he'll have a phenomenal do well at Tennessee. So that position is filled, but I thought that could have been a really good option for them as far as the athletic director goes. As far as the head coach, I think the route that they should go is T. Martin. For those of you who don't know, T. Martin was actually the quarterback after Peyton Manning, won a national championship in, I believe it was 97, with Tennessee Volunteers. He has been a lot of different places in the coaching world, but recently he was the offensive coordinator at USC, so I believe that was from 2016 to 2019, and then he actually came over to University of Tennessee. He was on the staff, with Jeremy Pruitt. So I think where Tennessee is right now, the program is really struggling. They did do a pretty good job with getting a good recruiting class in, but what happens when you don't win is you have a wave of talent leaving Tennessee and going in the transfer portal. One of their best defenders is being rumored to potentially, he's in the transfer portal, being rumored to potentially go to Alabama, via transfer portal. And how awful would that be for Tennessee Volunteers to see one of the best recruits you've had in quite a while go to Alabama, one of your biggest rivals. So that it's a tough situation. And with where Tennessee is right now, I just don't think you're going to be able to get one of these high profile coaches, to move from a head coaching spot, say, Luke Fickell. He's not going to go, well, I guess he could, but I don't think Luke Fickell's going to go from a situation in Cincinnati where things are going well. They were on the cusp of potentially a Final Four college football championship berth. He's in a really good situation, and to go from there to completely having to rebuild the Tennessee football program, that's a very difficult thing to do. It's not easy, and it's something that most coaches don't do a great job with. Usually this type of rebuild is going to take two coaches. It's going to be one guy to come in, kind of to extinguish the dumpster fire. So things aren't going to be great at that point. It's just the dumpster fire is out, where it's not burning anymore. We've put that out. That guy kind of lays the foundation. You're still probably going to be in a rough spot. And then you have that guy come in to really kind of get things rolling. I think it can be cut shorter if you have a situation like in Ohio State where you had Luke Fickell was the interim coach for, I think it was 9 games or maybe a full season. It was pretty rough, and then you had Urban Meyer come in right after that and kind of took off rolling. But once again, Ohio State was littered with talent, and they always have been. So that can cut it down, whereas I just don't see Tennessee in that spot to where they can come in and it's going to be in 2 years they're going to be winning the SEC. There's just too many teams that are just ahead of them in this sprint that you in order to catch up, it's just going to take quite a bit of time. So I think that would be a great time to bring in T. Martin. He's someone that, once again, has ties to the school. He's someone who has pride, with UT. And like I said, you're not going to get a top-tier guy. You're not going to get Tony Elliott from Clemson to go from Clemson to UT. Like, it's just not going to happen. And I'm usually not a guy that really cares much about, like, oh, he's a UT, he's a volunteer, bring him in. Like, if a guy can coach, he can coach. But with your situation and where the volunteers are, I think that would be, I think it would work well. I don't think you're looking at having, he's not a top tier guy where you're going to have to pay him, $5-6 million a year to do that job. You're going to have to pay him, as you should, but it's not going to be a huge price tag. And give him time. Like, give him time to really get in there, put the dumpster fire out, and start to lay that foundation so you can kind of take that next step and really get back to where you were when, T. Martin was the quarterback and, when Peyton Manning was there. So that's my quick just analysis on the Tennessee Volunteers situation. We've yet to hear with Jeremy Pruitt being fired, we've yet to hear about the actual violations of what's going to happen. So not sure if any sanctions or anything like that are coming down, but we'll see. It's a tough situation, but I think bringing in T. Martin could be something to really kind of, I don't want to say galvanize, but just kind of provide just a little bit of energy in that program. So we'll see what happens. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. Please like, subscribe. Definitely appreciate it. And also we'll have the notes and the information on the podcast in the description below. Thanks so much.